Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how to beat Cizzorz new death run in 2024. So for the most part, the first few levels are very easy. However, once it gets towards the very end of the death run, it gets very tough. Now, I actually coached Muselk to second in the private competition Cizzorz is hosting for this death run. He said that he would post a public competition for everyone else in roughly a week, so I'll be looking to do that. But yeah, the private competition was awesome to at least be a part of, even though I wasn't competing. But anyways, let's get straight into it. So for level 1, it's very simple. You're just going to want to run ahead. I doubt anyone would really need any help with this level. But yeah, and you can basically sprint through it. Absolutely no issues here. Yeah, it's nice and easy, and if you need to take your time and do it without sprinting and whatnot, go for it, because at the end of the day, taking it nice and slow and ensuring you don't have to kind of start the level over can definitely be better. So yeah, going across this like this can be, a way to just easily do it. But yeah, if you are searching up a tutorial for this map, I can almost guarantee it would be for the later on levels, so I doubt many people would need help with some of these earlier ones. But yeah, so even on a level like this, on level 2, you actually for the most part want to ensure that you are actually going pretty slow through this level. Just to guarantee that you don't fall, because Cizzorz has added a fair few levels in this map that are only up style, and they are normally very long. So this is the only one, at least from my knowledge, the only one that actually has a checkpoint, throughout the level. But the later only up levels, especially level 13, is extremely long, so you just need to take it super slow. But yep, we're approaching the end of the second level now. Oh, almost there. Cool. A little tip for people in case you don't know, similar to the sprint jumping one compared to a normal jump, as you can see in comparison to that, is with the impulses, the later you jump, the more of an effect you will get. And so you often want to be standing still and throw it below you, and right as you're throwing it, kind of start moving forward. But it obviously depends on the trajectory that you need off the impulse. Let's get to it. So need to try to get across. Slide, jump, and we're across into level 4. Now this one is just an anti-grav jump. That level did actually confuse me a bit at first, but it's just a very simple jump. Now there's 2 traps here, so you're going to want to make sure to bait one, and then you can just kind of run on the right, bait this trap, check, even though there isn't, but always check, go through, bait both of these, and we're on to the slide. Now we're up to our second only up level here now, and once again, for the most part, I'm just going to skip through this, except for any slightly difficult parts. But yeah, for the most part, my only tips on this is just go slow. Make sure that you're thinking about every jump you're about to do, because you are going to save a lot more time going slower on these levels than if you try to do it quick and then you all of a sudden fall. Because unlike a normal level where you may just lose, 20, 30, even 10 seconds progress on a level, once you're falling on these levels, even me at this point right now, I'm already probably losing about 30 seconds. So now we're on to level 6. Now this one very similar to level 4, it's just a big old anti-gravity speed level. So you're just going to want to make sure to jump as close to the edge of the blocks as possible, but you don't need a perfect jump or nothing, but you need to ensure you're at least towards the end of the last block to make it. But yeah, this part may confuse some people, so I'll make sure to show this, but you're going to want to make sure the whole crouch at this point is slide through those traps. And as always, you need to check the sneaky little scissors traps and bait that one, and we're on to level 7. Now level 7, once again, this is one I don't think people need help with at all, you know, very straightforward. Which, to be fair, when I was doing this competition with Muselk, like when it literally had just come out and when the first people to play the map, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually very surprised at the difficulty. I even from the get-go, even though I'm not gonna lie, it definitely ranked up towards the end and whatnot. I think, you know, for the most part, this was rather easy for a Cizzorz Deathrun. But yeah, now level 8. Now this is an impulse level once again. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the second impulse here is a little difficult. It's not too difficult, but it is one where if you don't know what you're doing with impulses, it could be a bit bad. So here you need to get a bit more height than usual. And you need to make sure to get, once again, a jump as late as possible with this one, because it is a very big jump you need. But yeah, so just throw it underneath you, and with this one you're going to want to be a bit more, like, you don't want to walk forward as much as you would on the previous one we did, because you need a bit more height to get up to that one. So anyways, we'll give it a try. But yep, first try, straight up. So if you're having any difficulties with that, I think the main thing would be how late you're jumping. But yeah, and then it's a sprint jump across to the rift, and now we're on to level 9. Now this is an only down level. Now I'm going to show you a skip because, you know, I think if you want to do it the normal way, do it the normal way. There's absolutely no problem with that. But you're going to want to jump to this platform here, and then you can jump up onto the roof, which I think. Third time's a charm. There we go. And then you can just do a normal jump up here, you don't have to do a sprint jump, and into the roof we go. Alrighty, on to level 10. Now this is another one, I doubt anyone needs a tutorial, but something you may not know is that you can actually take it very slow like here. So for instance, if you were struggling to do it full sprinting, there's actually a pretty generous timer on the speed feat, so you can kind of go slow and line yourself up for this correctly. And then same part here, you can take it nice and slow if you have to. No reason to rush it. I'm just still checking for those traps. It's a good habit to get into when it's a scissors map. I just had to go do something, but we're back. So on this level, it's just a shockwave level. So once again, same thing applies. Jump as late as possible. This first impulse should be pretty easy. Shouldn't take too long. Now this second one's a bit more difficult. You kind of, my rough setup is I like to stand about here, and then you want to jump like just as you're under this, because if you leave it too late, you'll just fall. But yeah, so let's give it a shot. Yep, and we just fell short. Alright, let's try a sprint jump. Yeah. A lot more successful. So this level my mic actually bugged a bit, I don't know why. But for this level, once again, you're going to want to try and jump as late as possible with the impulse. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is, in my opinion, the first somewhat challenging level. I feel this impulse definitely isn't an easy one. But then, yeah, when you get to this rock here, you're going to want to slide and jump near the end, and you should go straight into this little box here. And you're on to level 13, which is, there's just this thing here. But there's a big skip here at the start, which I'm going to show you guys, and it's very important. So you're going to want to go to the top left of the first area and do this little strafe jump down, and there will be this pad that will instantly launch you all the way up here. But yeah, as I said, this is the level you want to take the most time with, because it is such a long level. It is not even close. It's by a mile the longest level in the entire map. So that's why you really want to make sure that you take time with it. Do these jumps one by one, don't take any risks. But yeah, once again, like, I'll be skipping through majority of these earlier levels, except for my commentary with tips, etc. Just because, as far as how to actually complete these levels, it's really not all that hard. It's just, you know, for instance, this level, level 13, it may be a level that a lot of you are struggling with to get past, but as it actually is, there's not really a single thing in this level that's inherently hard as such. Actually, I think there is a falling posters part at the end, which I will actually show you. And now this is potentially the hardest part in the whole thing. Now I believe this first poster is completely safe, but I believe the next 4 will collapse, or maybe the next 3, I'm actually not certain. But you need to do this completely without stopping. Now you don't need to sprint at all, so just normal speed, but you're going to want to do this efficiently. So I'll show you how to do it. Jump, jump, boop, 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 and yeah. So it was all of those ones, but yeah. So you're just going to want to make sure to do that bit quick. That's potentially something that would take a lot of people off guard. Also, this taco is not you cannot stand on it, so do not do that. You need to just make sure to stay on the base of it. But yeah, and now we're at the very end of this super long level, so you need to do sprint jumps for all these and a sprint jump to the rift. And we're done. We're on to level 14. Now, this is actually where, sure, level 13 was difficult in the sense of how long it was, but nothing was actually mechanically difficult there. Level 14 is where I'd say it actually starts to get mechanically difficult. Nowhere near some of the levels of Cizzorz past Deathruns for the first few, but they can be challenging. But you may see people going ahead and doing like something like this, you know, for each jump, like, you know. And I personally don't think that that is the way you should approach this at all. I think you should go with the simple old strategy, which is basically you're going to want to just keep going with momentum. If you're on keyboard and mouse, I think you should go ahead and bind jump to scroll wheel up or scroll wheel down, just because it makes these jumps easier. Now, something I do want to show is you can't just spam it. I'll show you what happens if you just spam jump instead of timing. So as you can see there, I was too short. So it's kind of hard to explain, but you need to feel where the middle point is in the wall. You kind of need to wait like 1/10 of a second before jumping type thing. Kind of like this, if you see what I'm doing, is basically what you have to do here. So, push. But yeah, nice and easy. It may take some time, as always. Check for scissor traps. There we go. Bait this. And then we have another little part that we have to do the exact same thing. So we go ahead like this now. Bait these traps. And once again, another little jumping thing. And then we are through. Now, I've actually never pressed this button. I'm pretty sure it would reset you, but all I know is you don't actually have to press the button. Sprint jump, normal jump, and we're across. Now, it can be a bit hard to get set up from the second platform to the wall there, but you basically need to be holding W the whole time kind of thing to be able to get enough momentum from the wall to the door. But yeah, now we're on to 16. Now 16, once again, it is a bit more of a difficult level, but it's not one that you need kind of explained to you. But this one can be a bit difficult, but just make sure, like, if there's a left turn coming up, like here, hug the right wall. Hug the right wall. Now hug the left wall. And so if you kind of see what I'm doing, it just makes sense. It works. You get a bit of a bigger angle to turn. And that's basically level done, except watch this trap here. You don't even have to bait it, you can just stay on the left hand side of the wall. And now level 17 is where I'd say things really start to kick off for the average player. So basically you're going to want to do a double sprint jump across. You can do this all with momentum. I may actually just demonstrate the kind of route to do. So sprint jump, sprint jump, sprint jump, sprint jump. So you can kind of do all those in a row. Now this is where for your average person, like for your tutorial, I'm going to be recommending something that's like kind of just a bit easier, which is I recommend you try go from this left corner to that right corner with a sprint jump. So I feel you've got a bit of time in the air and it's kind of the right distance you need to make that jump. Now you don't want to hold W the whole time, but a little bit of practice on those and you'll kind of get what you have to do. Now this one is also a sprint jump, but you don't have to strafe, you can just do it from the dead center and just... So now this is a run of me putting 17 all together in one clean pool. And so you'll see here, once you get to the final wall, this jump is makeable from just a normal sprint jump here. You do a little jump there to bait the trap, sprint jump across, and then for this you do a tiny sprint jump, but I recommend doing it from the far left or far right to ensure you get more distance. So once you're at level 18, basically you're going to want to just jump to the side, sprint jump to the middle, and then sprint jump these two, and now it's the door that is really hard. So for this door jump, look specifically where I jumped to actually make it in, and then once again that short little sprint jump that I've talked about a few times now is what you need to make it to that second door. So keep that in mind, that is how you do that, and that is definitely the challenge of level 18, there's nothing more to it than that really. But yeah, once you get through those two door jumps, you need to do kind of a half sprint jump again and land on the edge of that trap to not activate it. And then do this trap bait and you're through to level 19 now. So with level 19, it's got this first little brief trap baiting section. So you want to bait the first trap, do a sprint jump across to the second one and bait those traps. Now you may miss the floor, so you may have to rebait the floor. Then do another jump across twice, bait this trap where you'll get an impulse. This is a very good impulse that you need to do, so once again be trying to jump as late as possible. I've also found if you do a sprint jump for it, that can often help. But yeah, and so at this point, this is definitely the hardest part of level 19. This is basically all the challenge is trying to impulse yourself up to that door. So you're going to want to, once again, you need close to a perfect impulse. Now it's possible to land on the door, which is what I've done every time I've beaten it. However, you can also fly through the door, which can either kill you, or you can get very lucky and land on either of the safe spots. But once you're up here, just make sure to really analyze below what you're doing, and then eventually when you're prepped, go for that first jump, and then all you need to do is jump across and you finish level 20. But yeah, so for the most part, it's a pretty, once again, straightforward level, but that very last impulse is very difficult to get right. Now we are finally on the very last level, level 20, and this one by a mile is the hardest level. Now level 19, that just took me probably roughly 10 to 15 minutes. Once again, this also is only my second playthrough of this map. I'm doing this directly after doing the event with Muselk, so I'm actually not very experienced with the map whatsoever yet. And during Muselk's competition, I actually wasn't necessarily like, you know, sweating or running the whole time. I was more so getting a level ahead of him and then just trying to find the more consistent ways to help him and see how he could do things easier and whatnot. So throughout the whole event I wasn't necessarily actually speedrunning as well, but now we're finally on to level 20. Now I imagine this is going to take me a bit of time, but basically the first jump's really easy, it's just a sprint jump. But this second jump, and then the jump after that, but especially the second jump, is where most of the challenge here is, and then an impulse towards the end. But yeah, this jump, you need to kind of go at it on like an angle like this, and you need to be really close to the right hand side of this, but not hit it type thing. But yeah, this requires a really precise jump that you need to land on that doorway. So I definitely won't get this first try, but let's see. But yeah, otherwise I'll then just skip to whenever I do actually have a run that gets through both doors. But yeah, level 20 is very hard, and this is the main challenge in it. Oh, I actually got this first try. Well, this is sick. So this door jump, we've had this before, I believe on level 18 is where we've had this door jump before. So it's just a jump where you're going to want to do a quick W while clicking sprint and jump at the start. When saying jump, I clicked jump and it killed me. Well, but yeah, you do a little sprint jump through there and whatnot. But yeah, so now I'll skip to when I actually have a run that gets through there. Alrighty, cool. So we got through the door and we did the little sprint jump thing I was talking about. That only took like 4 attempts total, and my second attempt at the door So that was very good. That was actually very quick compared to my first run through of this. But these jumps are fairly easy. They are all sprint jumps except for those last three, although I do sprint jump on them still. But yeah, you still want to, you know, treat every jump seriously. It's not like it's the easiest thing in the world still. But I'm not going to lie, these jumps... Now, these jumps are fairly easy, but I did screw up this one before. I believe this one is the hardest that I just did. But you are going to want to take these jumps seriously, even though they're not the hardest. Now, these ones I still do a little sprint jump forward just to make sure I get enough height. But here is basically the most important last part of the level, which is an impulse up to here. Now, I will do a sprint impulse, but you don't have to get up there. But yeah, let's give this my best shot on my first try. Yeah, very close. I needed to be a bit more in front of the impulse, but yeah, that's basically, once you get through there, it's pretty much level done. We're back in the GG room. So we're in the GG room now. This is when people think it's the end, but it's actually not the end. So there's a little bit more. So we're going to invade the track and then just do 2 single block jumps forward. There we go. And now we go through this rift. We've just got some full block jumps. And then at the very end, there's just another impulse. It's not too difficult, but it's one that you still need to make sure that you're doing it correct and whatnot. So I'll focus, make sure I'm doing this all right. Okay. Cool. But yeah, and last night when I was doing the live stream with Muselk, the impulse at the end there actually wasn't spawning. So I could potentially be the first person to completely finish the map, I'm not too sure. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial, especially I know most of you would be needing help on levels like level 17, 18, 19 and 20. They are by far the hardest, and you know, I do like how Cizzorz made a death run that still takes plenty of time. As you see, it took me 2 hours 10 minutes, granted probably about half an hour of that I was AFK, but still a really hard map. As I said, this is only my second playthrough, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, it would mean a lot if you could go ahead and subscribe and like if you enjoyed this content. I do believe Cizzorz will be posting the public competition for this map in a week, so about 6 days probably by the time the video's out. But yeah, I will be doing that intensely. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and peace.